Ladies and gentlemen, the big question which I want us to look at today: can William Ruto win the presidency in the first round? Or can Raila Odinga win the presidency in the first round? Or are we going to have a rerun? This is what I want us to look at, because personally I've looked at the numbers. From papers, the numbers favors the deputy president. But from a critical look at the numbers, Raila Odinga can easily win in the first round as long as Kalonzo Musyoka is going to stay with him. I'm saying this because William Ruto had a clear strategy on how he was going to win the presidency. Because remember, the deputy president started scheming for the presidency way in 2017. So his strategy was very simple: consolidate the Jubilee stronghold. And that's why he engineered the merger of small parties to form a bigger Jubilee party. So his idea was how to consolidate the Jubilee strongholds, which was central Kenya, or the larger Mount Kenya region, and Rift Valley. Then once that's done, the deputy president believed very strongly that he could do better than President Uhuru Kenyatta in other regions. That is, he believed he could do better in Nyanza, especially the Kisii and the Kuria. He believed he could do better than Uhuru Kenyatta in the coastal region, and he could also do better than President Uhuru Kenyatta in Western Kenya. So the deputy president had also proposed in his thinking to split NASA and sponsor joint ticket of Musalia Mudavadi and that of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. The idea behind that was that if Kalonzo and Mudavadi were running on a ticket, there were lawyers who were not comfortable voting for Ruto would then vote for Raila Odinga. Would then vote for either Kalonzo or Mudavadi, and at the same time, Kambas would also vote for either Mudavadi or Kalonzo Musyoka. But Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka refused to play balls. In fact, the main reason why OneKenyans was formed was so as to allow Mudavadi and Kalonzo to pair in 2017. But Uhuru Kenyatta got wind of this and planted Gideon Moi, who ensured Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka never went that direction. And in my view, I've looked at the numbers, which critically favors Ruto from paper. But with the entry of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, I strongly believe that Raila Odinga, with the proper planning, can easily win in the first round. So in this video, I want to try and explain to you guys how Raila Odinga is going to win in the first round with the support of, or with the entry of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Before we do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support. Now, politics is a game of numbers, perceived or real. And politics is also a very dirty game. If you look at the performance of President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013, and again you look at their performance in 2017, something is very clear: that the Mount Kenya region determined the outcome. Without Mount Kenya full support of the deputy president, of President Uhuru Kenyatta, there was no way he would have managed to become the president. Again, the support from the Kalenjin nation also played the tyranny of numbers psychological game on them. But Raila Odinga is coming into this election in the hope that his strongholds are still intact, and that President Uhuru Kenyatta will also deliver for him the larger Mount Kenya region, where delivery would mean denying Ruto 30% of the votes from the larger Mount Kenya region. And then he also believes that with the support of the deep state, he can easily become the president. But the moment Musalia Mudavadi left Raila Odinga, it meant there are a certain number of supporters who voted for Raila Odinga who are then going to support William Ruto now, because those guys are going to support William Ruto. And then there was a scare that Kalonzo Musyoka was also not going to support Raila Odinga. If Kalonzo Musyoka was not going to support Raila Odinga, in my view, there was no way Raila Odinga was going to win the presidency. Now, let me explain to you guys how the entry of Kalonzo Musyoka is likely to make Raila Odinga win in the first round. The first reason is basically the expanded options for a running mate. The truth of the matter is that the choice of a running mate will definitely determine who becomes the next president of the Republic of Kenya. That's a fact. A running mate, a good running mate, would be able to attract funding. Elections in Kenya nowadays is about money. So with good funding, you can move around. So I think Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka joining Raila Odinga gives that ticket now the ability for people to fund. So sorry, I'm talking of expanded options for a running mate. So I'm talking of a good running mate can attract funding. Number two, a good running mate will bring numbers. And a good running mate is capable of campaigning when the candidate is not there. But now the entry of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka into Azimio actually gives Raila Odinga the expanded options available to him. So it means Raila Odinga can then decide now to go and choose a running mate from Ukambani. If he decides to choose a running mate from Ukambani, which in that case would be Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, it means Raila Odinga will be assured of the over 2 million votes from the Kamba nation. So he will be able to do that. If that was not the case, then it would be complex. And the other option is that now Raila Odinga can now decide to go to Mount Kenya and choose, for example, Martha Karua, who is part of One Kenya Alliance. Kalonzo Musyoka will fully support. Or he can decide to go for Peter Kenneth or even Peter Munya. The reason why this has provided an expanded option is because if Raila Odinga were to go and have a running mate without the support of Kalonzo, that was going to be difficult. You saw yesterday Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka stating very clearly that for him is willing to work with Raila Amolo Odinga under any terms, and he will be able to accept any offer given to him. So it means now he has given Raila Odinga the free hand as long as they can win the presidency. So if Martha Karua in Raila Odinga's thinking will bring more numbers, then now that option is there. Previously, the option was only Mount Kenya. So it provides Raila Odinga with that running mate option. Number two, Kalonzo Musyoka also joining Raila Odinga now locks Ruto out of Ukambani politics. Now, the bitter truth is that if Kalonzo were not going to support Raila Odinga was going to have difficulties in penetrating Ukambani. He was going to depend on the three governors, that is Governor Mutua, Governor Ngilu, and Governor Kivwana. I doubt if these governors were going to give Raila Odinga the much needed support. But if Kalonzo was not with him, they were going to help, but not much. Now with Kalonzo Musyoka and these governors, it means definitely that Ukambani region is now fully locked for Azimio. Remember, in this country, we have the vifaranga vya computers, and Ukambani region had most of the vifaranga vya computers in the name of members of parliament. It means even the numbers they got in the last elections were actually inflated. I've always opined on this platform that Kalonzo Musyoka is a sure bet for the Ukambani region in terms of votes. If you're looking for Ukambani votes, the best bet is normally Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. If Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka supports you, then you are as good as having the Kamba vote. The truth is, without Kalonzo Musyoka supporting Raila, Raila Odinga was going to have many bitter people with him. Many people are going to be bitter with him, and therefore they were not going to support Raila Odinga. And in that situation, they were going to vote for William Ruto. Like in case rerun was occasioned the way the deputy president had purposed. So that's number two. Number three, let us look at the game of numbers. How is Kalonzo Musyoka entry into Raila Odinga assuring him first round win? Politics is a game of numbers, which is perceived. In the last election, 2013 and 2017, Uhuru won perceptionally because of tyranny of numbers, which means the Kikuyu voting bloc and the Kalenjin voting bloc. Now, Kikuyu nation, the larger Mount Kenya region nation has around 5.9 million registered voters. That's huge. If you just take those numbers, that's what I'm saying. For Ruto, he has the numbers on paper. Mount Kenya region has 5.9 million registered voters. You go to Rift Valley, the Kalenjin nation, dominated nation, counties, they have a total of 2.4. So that's around 8.3 million votes Ruto is starting from there. Then, now here is where the catch for Ruto. In Mount Kenya, Raila Odinga's real votes were deflated. Right? In Mount Kenya, dead people voted in the last election. In Mount Kenya, they got out in large numbers to defend the presidency, Udamaki, because the presidency was leaving the house of Mombe. In Mount Kenya, Uhuru Kenyatta votes were inflated. You remember the case of Alice Wahome forcing that returning officer? That will not happen this time around. The system will not allow that to happen. If anything, the only thing which can happen in the larger Mount Kenya region is that their turnout is going to be low, number one. The figures are going to be deflated. If you look at Mount Kenya region further, you realize that West, which is not the Kikuyu nation predominantly, has around 4.6. Then you go to the eastern side of it, has 1.3. I'm giving you those numbers because it gives William Ruto supporters hope. Then if you go to Rift Valley, then there is the Ma voting counties. That is Kajiado, Narok, Laikipia. Mostly, if you look at the figures of those counties, they're around 900,000 votes, close to 1 million. If you look at the voting pattern in those counties, normally, they lean towards Raila Odinga. The Maasais have always voted with Raila Odinga. So if you look at them, so they can split it. In Nyanza, Raila Odinga is beginning with 2.9 votes. Now, 2.9 votes in Nyanza, in the last election, the votes in Kisii were tampered with, and the votes in Kura were tampered with. This time around, even from just a mere random talk with the people on the ground, Nyanza is going to vote as a block. So which means Uhuru won in Nyamira. That's the truth. In Kisii, Raila Odinga defeated him. This time around, that's not going to happen. Raila Odinga is going to sweep. I'm not talking of parliamentary seats, gubernatorial. Those ones can go whichever they want because of the way ODM is handling the nominations. So likely, Nyanza will block. You go to Nairobi. Nairobi has around 2.1. In Nairobi, Raila Odinga has always defeated Kibaki. He defeated Uhuru. He defeated Kibaki free and fair. He defeated Uhuru in those two elections, which means there's no way William Ruto is going to defeat Raila Odinga in Nairobi. If anything, with the handshake, Raila Odinga's numbers in Nairobi will go up. Then you go to Ukambani, which is my interest. The three counties of Ukambani has around 1.7 million votes. This is what Kalonzo Musyoka is bringing. And Kalonzo Musyoka is bringing these numbers plus other Ukambani votes across the country. Kambas across the country, they have a good presence in Nairobi. They have a good presence in Coast. They have a good presence in Northeastern. So the Kamba voting bloc will be there. So Kalonzo is bringing close to over 2 million votes. Then you go to Northeastern. This is where they have around 800. Northeastern already, Uhuru has locked out Ruto. In fact, they were just struggling the other day to find the people to contest. Then you go to Coastal Region, which is 1.8, and this is area where the deputy president is fighting tooth and nail to win. The truth of the matter is that with Kingi, with Joho, Coast is still going to vote for Raila Odinga the way they did. And that's why even those UDA aspirants who are contesting there are finding it difficult to penetrate. But his numbers are going to go up a bit. Western, I talked of 2.1. Will Western Kenya vote for Ruto or will they vote for Raila? That's another swali nyeti. Bungoma will definitely vote for Ruto. More than half. Vihiga will vote for Raila. That's Musalia Mudavadi's backyard. Will vote for Raila. Kakamega is going to vote for Raila. Busia is going to vote for Raila. So if this Kalonzo Musyoka 2-point-something votes were not there for Raila, it was going to complicate the equation for Raila Amolo Odinga. And lastly, let us look at the influence of the deep state, because this is also critical. If you look even at the registered voters, I doubt the authenticity of that register. Because in 2017, the register was meant to achieve a particular political objective. I've looked at the numbers of, during this new registration, I was looking at the numbers. I just forgot to note them down. And compared them to the registered numbers during the same period during that window. Kiambu in October 2020, Kiambu County had 800,000 votes by October in 2020. Sorry, in not 2020. They had 800 before 2017, October 2017. Was it October 20? We had election in 2017. Just before the 2017 election, there was voter listing. Kiambu had 800,000. So when new voters were registered, Kiambu County registered over 400,000 new voters. Not possible. Not possible. That's why the population in Kakamega is normally higher than the population in Kiambu. But the number of registered voters in Kiambu, for example, are higher than Kakamega as a county by almost half. So which means something was not adding up. So in real sense, if William Ruto is banking on those Kiambu numbers, the deep state is not going to allow that to happen. So we are going to have very low turnout in Kiambu because the system will not play with those votes the way they did. Then there is the Uhuru Kenyatta's influence. You know, Uhuru Kenyatta is the sitting president. He's going home. He would want his interest. There are people who are still loyal to President Uhuru Kenyatta. You can't convince me that Mount Kenya, despite if these people voted for Uhuru Kenyatta 4 times, you can't get 20% of the people who will go with Uhuru Kenyatta down. So if you add to around 10% or 15% who will vote for Raila Odinga, just because of his Raila Odinga, then we are looking at a good number for Raila Odinga. And then the turnout is going to be suppressed. Kalonzo Musyoka's entry will definitely ensure Raila Odinga becomes the president of the Republic of Kenya in the first round. I don't know what you think. Take it or leave it, or let us discuss. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day.